You're listening to Speak, Lord, and I'm Ryan Rogers. I do this podcast because I love to hear God speak through the words of the Bible, and I want to share that with you. So I pay a lot of attention to what things cost. It could be a flaw, but I think it's a gift. Some people don't look at price tags, and I can't do that. The other day I was in the self-checkout, and I had this massive bag of carrots that wouldn't scan. So the attendant came to help me and asked if I remember what the price tag said for the carrots. I knew it. It was $12.99. I also knew that it was a better price per ounce than the 2-pound bag or the 5-pound bag. And the big bag was organic. Cost matters. I usually look for a lower cost, but cost actually matters the other way too. It matters that we have to pay for things. God tells us that there is a cost to following Him. He could have taken the cost away, but the cost actually matters. In 2 Samuel 24, we see the story of David taking a census of the people. It seemed like a harmless thing, but God didn't want him counting the people and feeling the pride of his large kingdom. So Joab questioned the king. He said, "May the Lord your God add to the people 100 times as many as they are, while the eyes of my lord the king still see it. But why does my lord the king delight in this thing?" "Why are you doing this, David?" Joab didn't have a good feeling about this, but David did it. It took 9 months and 20 days. And we read that David's heart struck him after he had numbered the people. And David said to the Lord, "I have sinned greatly in what I have done." So there was this prophet named Gad who came to David with 3 options. There was a cost associated with the sin. The options were 7 years of famine, 7 months of being pursued by enemies, or 7 days of plague. David chose to fall into the hands of God and not man because God is more merciful. He chose the 7 days of plague, and 70,000 were killed. That is a huge cost. And Gad came to David and said, "Go up, raise an altar to the Lord on the threshing floor of Araunah, the Jebusite." So he did, and Araunah says, "Why are you here?" And David said, "To buy the threshing floor from you, in order to build an altar to the Lord, that the plague may be averted from the people." So Araunah says, "Let my lord the king take and offer up what seems good to him. Here are the oxen for the burnt offering, and the threshing floor sledges, and the yoke of the oxen for wood. All this, O king, Araunah gives to the king." And Araunah said, "May the Lord your God accept you." David wanted to pay for it, and Araunah says, "No, it's yours. Just stop this plague. Do whatever you need to do." But the king says to Araunah, "No, but I will buy it from you for a price. I will not offer burnt offering to the Lord my God that cost me nothing." So David bought it, he offered the burnt offering, and God stopped the plague. David refused to give an offering that cost him nothing. And it sounds strong and noble, but why does it matter? Why did it need to cost David? The cost matters not because God needs it, but because we do. The cost is not to gain salvation, but to be a disciple. Salvation is free. Isaiah 55 starts this way: "Come, all you who are thirsty, come to the waters, and you who have no money, come, buy and eat. Come, buy wine and milk without money and without cost." Salvation is a free gift of God, but discipleship, following God, that cost us something. Not for His sake, but for ours, to free us from this world to be fully surrendered to Him. There's this passage in Luke about the cost of discipleship. Jesus says, "If anyone comes after me and does not hate his own father and mother and wife and children and brother and sister, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple." Then he gives those illustrations about counting the cost to build a tower or to go into battle. And he says, "So therefore, any one of you who does not renounce all that he has cannot be my disciple." Another place in Luke, Jesus says, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross daily, and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will save it." See, the cost is not to earn anything from God. It is to free our hearts to follow Him with everything. The cost is not a flaw. It's part of the design. And since the cost matters, we should not try to get out of paying the cost. Maybe the cost, the very thing we don't want to give, is what God is using to accomplish a necessary work in our heart. I want to have that same attitude David had when he said, I will not sacrifice what cost me nothing. How is God speaking to you today? Maybe you need to give up something to follow God more fully. Maybe you need to make financial sacrifices to be more free to follow God. And maybe you're giving a lot right now, emotionally or at work, and you're feeling like the cost is really high. Don't run from the cost. God has a purpose for the cost, to help us be less entangled with the things of the world and be fully surrendered to Him. The cost matters, and rather than avoiding it, I want to allow God to accomplish in me what He wants to do through the cost. Speak, Lord. Your servant is listening. You can find more of Speak, Lord by searching for Palmer SDA Church wherever you get podcasts and at PastorRyanRogers.com.